Okay, let's try again. After not being here for almost 2 years, well, I kind of just made a whole timeline, go into the details of Rome, things about Rome, also from the perspective of going to celebrate my special Nana's birthday. She turned, by God's grace, 69 this year. We also went to the Vatican City as well. So without further ado, let's get started. Whenever or if ever you get the opportunity to travel, always go with an open mind and an open heart. It really makes a difference how you perceive a particular nation before going. If you're not careful, you'll let that define your experience. So we were waiting at Heathrow Terminal 5 to get the tube. The coach came. We sat right in front of it. Even my nan was like, oh, are you sure this is not the coach we're supposed to get, Nicole? My stupid ass goes, oh, it doesn't say a specific thing, so it's not that. It wasn't until 2 seconds after it went that I immediately began to rethink, like, oh shoot. I was very quick on my feet about it. I was like, you know what, Lucy, we're gonna get the next National Express. We came so early. It's not even something I should have worried about in the first place, which I feel like I handled that situation pretty calmly, but to improve next time, my stupid ass needs to learn to do better, because I then went onto my Apple Maps to look for the time for the bus, and it says salió, which means that it went already. So I was like, but we got on the National Express. It was a bit on the pricey side, but the point is we got to the terminal. We went straight to the security point because we already checked in. Well, I already checked us in online. If the airline allows for you to check in early via online or the app, please do that, because it will save you a lot of time. Because in my case, we were only going with the cabin bag, just in the event that my nan and I couldn't get the same company coach until say 7:30. It would have been now 8:30. Technically, we would still be able to have made it, although cutting it very, very short, we still would have made it simply by me already checking us in online. If that wasn't the case, then I may have risked potentially losing or missing my flight altogether and having to pay extra to then get the next one, or so on. 2 hours early to the dot, and this is by the time we finished going through security. My bag, when it went in, it was fine because I put all the liquids out, etc. My nana though, her bag got put to the other side where it needed to be checked. The lady was like, there's a lot of jewelry in here. And my nana, she's carrying this whole bag. It's the equivalent of my little black bag, which is this wide. All she has in there is just jewelry. And I told her the night before, I was like, Lucy, do you really need all that jewelry? She's like, well, for pictures, for this and that. And I was like, okay, let me not argue. During our flight, one of the passengers, I think, was unconscious. It was all the way at the front. We were all the way at the back. Then I saw an oxygen tank, and I was just like, oh my gosh. We had to wait, basically, for the ambulance of the land to arrive to pick up the passenger, so then everyone else can go. This lady that is just in front of me, she starts saying oh, I'm not happy in this, this is not organized, this is not good, all the passengers should leave, and then leave the passenger behind that's not feeling well, and then the ambulance can get them. She says there's one word, a particular number of times, claustrophobic. Most of the time she was saying it, she wasn't even saying it correctly. I tried not to laugh at that point, because at the same time it is serious. Claustrophobia is a serious thing. Some people have panic attack. No way, this lady, she starts talking English, and then one of the attendants tries to explain to the situation. This lady, shut up! Shut up! Let me talk to you now about the hotel where we stayed at. It was about a 10-minute journey to the airport via shuttle bus. It was very interesting when making some comparisons towards my own place of work as well. The shuttle bus over there was free, whereas the one here going from Heathrow Terminal 5 is charged from around £7. Not anything to do with the hotel. They're both affiliated with their own airports respectively. It is a very nice perk to be able to have discounted rates. And when I say discounted, I don't mean a percentage off. I literally mean like standard team member rates. This hotel, an average night for a guest would be from around 150 to 200 pounds. In my scenario, I simply paid 50 pounds. 50 pounds a night. I mean, I loved the experience. The team there were very nice, as well as the server that was serving us lunch. Let's talk about the hallway, okay? The hallway was given like last century kind of vibes. It's not everyone's thing, the colors, but for me, I thought the color scheme actually worked out nice. In terms of any problems, I had no problem. The room was good, everything was clean, everything was spot on. We were on the top floor, which I really appreciated. We got to have a general overview of the hotel, as well as like the car park thing. Time to get to the more interesting part of traveling, which is the actual journeying in between places. It wasn't like over 20 degrees, but I could feel the sun on the second day. The only thing though, when we arrived, we got changed, everything was fine. But as we were going down on the lift, it started raining. I was very close just to calling it a day, like, you know what, let's just go upstairs and just go to sleep or something, or relax and thing. But a part of me was like so determined. I was like, you know what, we are still going out, even if it's in the evening. We had lunch in the area in the hotel. As another perk, I do get 50% off for dinner and drinks. During the course of us eating, it stops raining, and then when it stops raining, my nan just went to use the loo, and then off we went. Here is where I would kind of give you two options. Option one is do what I did, which was to book a hotel near the airport, with which I'm not familiar with, and then travel to and from the center of Rome each day. Keep in mind as well that when we did go into central Rome, we did not come back to the hotel until we were coming back to stay there for the night. Option two, book a hotel which is in the center of Rome, or in general in the center of where you are staying. It will cost you less to travel across the center of Rome. The only sort of big, payment that you are paying is when you're going back to the airport. I decided to do it this way because I wanted to understand what it was like to stay as a guest in another airport hotel, which is the same brand as mine. I'm trying so hard not to say it, but I know a number of you will know already. There weren't really many options near the center that did like twin beds. From the airport to center of Rome, or Roma Termini, there's the option to get a Leonardo Express train, or to get the FL1 train to then get off at the metro, near the metro station, to get the metro to go further into the center. The Leonardo Express is 14 euros one way. The FL1 train is 8 euros. They don't do any like return deals. You're essentially just paying one way, like one way to, one way from. The first day, or I'll say evening, we took the Leonardo Express, 14 euros times 2, and then times 2 again to come back. It works out just around 50 something pounds. I was like not too keen on going on it again, because when we actually took the FL1 train the following day, which was 16 euros for both of us, it actually worked out better. It's not that much different from taking the underground, or the overground I will say. But also one thing to note is they have like a double decker. It's probably the first time I've ever seen like a double decker train. On the way back, we stopped by the metro station so that I could buy us some metro cards. So the card that I got, I think, was for 2 days, and this would allow me to go on any of the metros, as well as the buses and the trams. Metro is actually quite decent. It's not bad. It's not too different from when I was in Barcelona. There was one night we were coming back, and this man just started arguing with another man. The man that was sitting was like occupying 2 seats. I don't understand Italian, okay? I don't speak Italian, but I could kind of pick up on certain keywords and phrases. Even when I was going around asking for help, like I was actually speaking bloody Italian, and that was like from 10-12 days of Italian on Duolingo and a bit of common sense. I don't know, but then they were actually replying to me like I was saying it correctly. I was like, okay, and then my nan goes like, oh, maybe you need to keep learning, keep speaking Italian. I'm like, I don't want to. But anywho, I think it was drunk as well. But then he saw my nan, like the guy that was sitting down, and you know, I pointed to her like, you know, you could sit there. And so he just immediately made way, let her sit. And then I think he was just telling the guy standing up off, probably something like, oh, why are you asking for a seat when there's someone that actually needs it, yada yada yada. And then he starts speaking to my nan, and then I'm just here trying not to laugh, and all the other people on the train as well are just like looking as well. Another thing to note in terms of having the passes, it's very important that when you purchase a card, that firstly you're purchasing it from someone that is an actual ticket master, not like someone on the street that's like waving tickets about. It's most likely that they will not be stamped. On the Leonardo Express, the FL1, and on buses, at least that I've been on, there is a inspector that will come in and check that you've got the right card and that you're actually paying. If you're found without a valid ticket or a method of payment, because they also take things like Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, etc., then you do risk receiving a fine. Also, there was a couple that were on one of the buses that we took, and the inspector came on the bus. He didn't check our ones. I'm not sure why, but I don't know, maybe he just trusted that we had our tickets. I always think it's better to have it and them not check than to not have it and then them incidentally coming to check, you know. This couple, they were standing just behind us. We were sitting down. Yeah, we were sitting down. They show him the ticket, but it wasn't stamped. Like, it needed to have the stamp for it to be valid. The ticket inspector told him this, and the man just goes like this, like touching the man's shoulder. It's like, oh, come on, blah, 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 blah. And then he immediately backed off. Oh my god, the moment he did that, I just knew something was gonna happen. Don't touch no Italian that does not want to be touched, because mamma mia, he's like, don't touch me. By him doing that, this guy escalated the situation with the inspector to the point where he asked them to get off at the next bus stop. But let me tell you, the buses and the trams are unreliable as hell. Let me say that again. Unreliable as hell. I'm gonna have to call you out, Mr. 8 bus. Why is it taking you hours to arrive? 20 minutes after we've walked over to the next station, there it is, just like passing by. I'm like, I know Ale warned me and everything that the buses are really bad and thing, but I was just like, you know what? Maybe he's exaggerating. Maybe it's gonna be my luck. Maybe they will actually be more reliable. Maybe they'll follow the timetable. We waited hours. We were watching the sun set. We were waiting over 20 minutes for the tram to come. And then when it comes, it's closed. I've never been on a tram. I would have loved to have gone on a tram for the first time abroad, but I guess it's not happening. This time at least. Maybe there's always next time. I'm so sorry. I don't know why my nose is so itchy. We did a lot of walking. I mean, serious walking. A lot of walking. Especially on the first night. We went to see the Colosseum, the Trevi Fountain, and the Spanish Steps. All in one evening, in the space of like 2-3 hours walking. I kind of just decided, for my nan's sake, like, you know, I think it's better we just get public transport. We were traveling when it was dark. By 6:30, it was like already night. We stayed out until around 8 o'clock when we took the Leonardo Express train back. In all of that time, I didn't once feel unsafe, even when in the midst of a lot of people in the Trevi Fountains, as well as protests happening by the Colosseum that evening. A march protest. Yeah. I felt very safe. Like, yeah. Maybe even a little bit more safe than London, to be honest. That's not to say that I should recommend you stay out until midnight, stuff like that. I don't know what happens at midnight there. As a general rule of thumb, I think going to Rome or going anywhere in general with one other person, I always feel increases that level of security, even in a questionably secure locations. From that evening, as well as the rest of the trip, it was, for me, Rome was fairly safe. It was safe. No, not even fairly safe, it was safe. Trust your gut, trust your spirit. Know when it's appropriate to leave after going out. Be very careful and mindful if you're meeting someone for the first time. I know my ass can be pretty naive, but I feel like with growing experience and traveling, it's kind of like decreasing it, as well as kind of being more socially aware. Side note, touristy places were busy. Even though I felt like this was a little out of season for it to be busy, it was still busy. I could never understand why the Trevi Fountains was something that influencers found so difficult to actually get a good picture of until you're there. Lord have mercy, my picture was so bad. Like, I really tried. The ones on my Nana are slightly better. Do not go on the hop-on, hop-off buses. I know it seems really nice. It seems like a good way to kind of go around the city. You can do that on the local bus for much, much cheaper. If you do get the sort of like day passes, 2-day passes, 3-day passes, then it's even better a bargain for you. I think in all my traveling, I have not once gone on this hop-on, hop-off thing. I did once in London, but that was like years ago, and that was like as part of a reward for winning, or not winning, but receiving recognition for a book that I published at the time. But otherwise, I just wouldn't recommend it personally. We're now in the Vatican, and in case you don't believe me, if you want to have a little look around, I'm here in a place where many Catholics across the world that consider this the Holy See, the Holy Land. It'll be almost a dying wish, like my Nana here. Going back to it being a privilege to be able to travel to these places, and reiterating the fact that I kind of like to record myself in these places, in part so I don't forget, but also in part so that others that are unable to like go to these places can get like a glimpse of what it's like from someone around their age, around their sort of lifestyle, around, you know, someone that they can relate to in some kind of way. So I'm very happy to be here. Of course, also very humbled. And yeah, I can't wait to explore the rest of this beautiful little country. I think it's the smallest country in the world, so all that for good reason. Again, across me is just beautiful buildings, like everything in white. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this. Whilst we didn't go to the museums, we did go like outside, explore the buildings and all of the poles just around it. We went to the fountain, took some pictures. There were also like stalls where they were selling products. There was like a main sort of shop where they had like prayer beads, they had holy water, they had statues of white Jesus and the whites, like biblical character.
And that, guys, is the end of part 1 of 2 videos showing my experience of Rome / the Vatican with my lovely Nana for her birthday. If you liked what you heard, if you like me talking, please do consider to like and share the video with whoever might be visiting Rome soon, or for anyone that's already been to Rome, let me know in the comments if you could relate to anything so far that I've said. And as always, if you do want to be one of the first people to be notified of when my next video goes up, please do feel free to subscribe. I promise you, I'm going to try to be a lot more consistent, and there's just so much stuff that's been happening in my life the past few years, so be ready for that. Otherwise, until the next video, I hope you do all continue to be the shining light in the world that you are. Remember to spread hope, love, joy, and peace, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.